I'll do the board prayers, and our Vice President, Mr. Myers, will lead us into the pledge. Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Meyer? Mrs. Barra? Ms. Fletcher-Mickens? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Washington? Mr. Crawford? Mrs. Arso? Mrs. Dugas? Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. The agenda will be followed as presented. Dear Lord, we thank you for another day to dwell in your awesome presence. It's only by your amazing grace that we are here and blessed more than we could ever imagine. Thank you for being so kind and merciful during these troubling years of the COVID virus. We have so much to be thankful for as this journey through these troublesome times. Please, dear God, we ask that you continue to watch over Assumption Parish School District and all that dwells therein. We humbly ask for your strength and your guidance to help us through this coming year. We pray that you give us wisdom and knowledge to make good decisions that will improve our schools and help our employees to meet the needs of our district. For all these, we are thankful and praise your holy name. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, I'm glad to see you made it with us. I thought I was going to miss you today. Yes, you did. Thank you very much. Motion to adopt the agenda. Motion by Mr. Roberts, second by Mr. Washington. Those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Next, need a motion to adopt the consent agenda. Motion by Ms. Uso, second by Ms. Dot. Questions or comment? Hearing none. Those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. Next, under reports and recognition, paragraph A, receive administrative personnel report. Each of us have a copy of that in our files. Shannon, you have anything? Okay, sorry. All right. So you can view that at your leisure. Next, under paragraph B, recognize and honor the 2021-2022 Teacher of the Year and the respective schools and the 2021 through 2022 Elementary, Middle, and High School Teacher of the Year and Principal of the Year for the district.
Good evening, everyone. It's that time of the year again. We get to recognize some of our outstanding staff that we have available. We'll do the teachers this month, and we'll try to get to our support staff within the next year and recognize those. But as always, what we normally do is we send out the protocols from the state. These protocols are made up of credentials. They have to turn in a portfolio. They have to answer questions. They have to get letters of recognitions. Each school has a committee, and whatever, as the portfolios come in, they send a selection from up to the central office. As always, we have our own committee from retired teachers that grades or uses a rubric to grade these, and from there we have our district winners that are selected. So without further, we'll go through the selections of our outstanding teachers at each school. I'll announce our district winners. Once we get up out to district winners, I'll ask Miss Linda, who has actually a nice little present, who's always, listen, the retired teachers are always here to help support the district. So I want to thank them personally from the central office, how nice that is. I ask the board president and the superintendent to come up as we announce these winners. First off, our first winner in primary school, which is a Teacher of the Year school level winner, comes out of Bayou Lewis Primary, and that winner is Miss Jennifer Landry. Jennifer, just come stand right here, if you don't mind. We'll get a picture with everybody once we finish. Our next winner, again, is from elementary school, is Teacher of the Year school level winner out of Belrose Primary, is Ms. Brashana Jarvis.
Rashawn parents is here, Mr. Bryson, or either, one would like to come up and receive this.
Yeah. I thought that was Bri when she walked in. Sounded like Bri's here. All right, must not have my glasses on. All right. All right. Teacher of the Year school level winner out of Napoleonville Primary School is Miss Jennifer Izan. Our next Teacher of the Year school level winner out of Pierpont Elementary, which is on the middle side, is Miss Brooke Chisholm. Also out of our middle school school level winners, out of Belrose Middle, is Mr. Brandon Gregoire. Our next school level winner out of Labrador Middle School is Miss Jennifer Chauvin. We'll get y'all in front. All right. Also out of Pierpont Elementary, a school level winner is Miss Donna Araby. All right, here we go. District level winners. That means that we took all the portfolios, we graded them. Our elementary district level winner comes out of Labrador Primary, Miss Miranda Hebert. Our middle school district level winner comes out of Napoleonville Middle School. That's Miss Erin Gravois. Our high school winner, which is our district level winner, is Miss 2 years in a row, Miss Wendy Hebert. And as always, we do announce one of our Prince of the Year winners. We do select one. And this year's winner for Prince of the Year is Miss Kathy O'Quinn. And again, before we take a picture, I want to announce, Miss Linda, why don't you come on up? They do have winners. You want to say something on the mic?
As a retired teacher for this parish, I know the work that it takes to do every day what needs to be done. People that are not teachers have no idea, and we understand that. But the work that you do, there's a bigger purpose for it. So we thank you all.
Again, we want to thank the Retired Association for helping us out with our district winners, with the prizes we have. I guess we'll take a picture right now. Okay.
You would like for us to get in front of the podium? Let's get in front of it. That way you're not. Microphone, that's my face. District level. We had.
Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Welcome, bro. That's Mr. and Mrs. Jarvis. Thank you all very much. Uh, Next on the paragraph, she received information on state assessment results. So each of us have that in our folders. We see Ms. Lane coming up to give us some insight there.
Good evening, good evening.
Ms. Lisa, before you speak, just want to put this in context. Last year, for all of us educators out there, and even our parents and our students, my 24 years was the hardest year in my career because you had so many moving parts and we never knew the target. So you know, whenever Ms. Lisa reads off the simulated results, I just want to put that in context that our teachers worked extremely hard, our principals worked extremely hard, and our students worked extremely hard to produce the results that they did. And I'm very pleased when you look at the results compared to how our students fared against all of the students in the state of Louisiana. I'm also very pleased at how our district fared out compared to all of the districts, as well as the state of Louisiana. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank our teachers, our leaders, and keep up the good work, and we're moving in the right direction. Ms. Lisa, thank you.
Sure. As Mr. Bartholomew stated, last year was a different year for us, very different. And because of COVID, our kids were in and out of school on a hybrid schedule, or some were virtual. It was really a difficult year for us, for students as well as for teachers and everyone. So the state waived the performance scores for the year. However, they of course gave us all the data we would normally get, so we could get what they're calling a simulated score. So what you have in front of you, if you find this page, okay, is a few things. We'll just kind of review what the performance score calculations entail, okay? And the calculations, of course, are combined. The calculations happen and give us that letter grade we get at every school and for the district. In the first graph at the top, or the chart at the top, you see 3 pie graphs. The first pie graph shows the parts of the calculation for elementary schools, for that's our primary schools, K through 4. The middle pie graph shows the calculations for our middle schools and our 1 elementary school that goes up through 8th grade. And then, of course, the high school is the last pie graph, and you can see they have many more working pieces that make up that SPS, what we call the SPS score, okay? In the bottom left, you'll see the performance score scale, and you'll see that we're going to arrive at a number for a score, and then there's a letter grade that goes with that. So you can see we're using the 2018 scale, but I also included the 2022 scale that we see that's coming for this after this school year, and there'll be one in 2025. And they've changed in that you can see that they're making it a little harder to reach that A as we climb. They're giving us time to climb to that A, and hoping we'll get there by 2025. Okay. On the right side in the bottom, I just kind of want to let you know what we're going to look at on the next page. The data that we're looking at or the bulk or the pieces uh, that are used in the calculation. The assessment performance, what that is the students' LEAP test scores, and it's looking at regular ed and special ed student, all of the scores. It's also including our English language proficient students, their tests that they take. Okay, so all of that's combined to get the assessment performance. The student progress is when the state looks at each child in our district and they give them a growth target. Each child has to grow so much year to year. So then they look, did every child grow? So then we get a score on that. How many, they look at every child. So that's called the student progress. It's also referred to on one of the, I think on the pie graph, they call it the growth index. But in the chart, the data they gave us, they call it student progress. It can get a little confusing, but know that progress and growth are the same. Okay, and also we're going to look at the ACT Workkeys results from our students last year. So that's also part. Okay, so if you go to the second page, the chart, the very top chart will show you the district level scoring. Assumption Parish this year, it's a simulated, what they're calling a simulated DPS. It's 81.7. 2 years ago, when we last had a DPS, it was 80.5. So we actually grew 1.2, even though the year was as rough as it was, which was we were excited to see it. We were very nervous, to get these scores. We were excited to see the growth. And if you look right below it at the state average is 75.3. So we're well above the state average still. And look at the state average in 2019 was 77.1. The state average actually dropped this year, but assumption climbed. So that's a real thrill for us. If you look at the letter grade, we were a letter grade B last year, and we're still a letter grade B. So that did move any, but our SPS score certainly did move. The next section shows you the assessment index, and that's that part. I told you that was the test, that was the LEAP scores. And you can see that we scored a 54.3 this year, and 2 years ago we grew 61.5. So this is our area where we really need to work and that we're working on. Okay? The next section shows the student growth, and that's where they looked at individual students. Our students were at 87.1 2 years ago, and we grew up an eighth of a point. We went to 87.9 this year. And look at this ACT data. 2 years ago, the index was at 62.1 for assumption, and we grew 6.2 points to 68.3. Isn't that awesome? And I gave you all the state averages so you can look at where the state average is and know we're above that average. We're really doing well. I think this is pretty glorious. I was excited to see it. Below you see the school breakdown, and I'm not going to go through every one of the schools one by one, but if you look closely, you can see the breakdown, and you can see that I've put, where there's growth, you'll see green text, and where there has been a fall or a decline, I've put red text.
All right.
Okay? All right, so we said, what are the reasons to celebrate? We have to celebrate.
Yeah.
So at the very bottom, follow me as I read these, because these are some real things that are pointed out in this data that I think we all need to celebrate. The district performance score grew from 80.5 to 81.7. It's 1.2 growth. The district performance is 6.4 above the state performance. In 2019, our DPS was only 3.4 above the state. The district performance ranks 22 among 68 Louisiana districts. 22.
Yeah.
That was from scores last year. And in 2019, we ranked 29.
29.
So we've climbed in rank as well. ACT index grew from 62.1 to 68.3, we saw. And the school performance scores in our schools grew at 3 of our schools. Last year, only 2 of our schools grew, rather in 2019. So we had more schools grow this year, okay? And I'll name the 3, Assumption High, Napoleonville Middle, and Napoleonville Primary Schools. Okay? Our progress index grew in 6 of our schools this year. And that progress index, remember, that's when they're looking at each student.
Right.
The progress index grew only in 2 of our schools last time we got scores. So that's a definite increase. And look at number 7. One of our schools was given the Equity Honoree Award. We've never had that award before. And that award was given to Assumption High School this year. And it's because they also look at subgroup data. And what the subgroups they looked at were the English language learners, the students with disabilities, and the economically disadvantaged students. And they ranked how all students did in the state in those subgroups. And Assumption High was in 90+ percentile rank in those. That's quite an honor. Okay? And that about wraps it up. Any questions?
Good. Thank you, ma'am.
I might have a question.
Okay.
I don't quite, I'm not familiar. What is simulated?
Simulated just means that it's not gonna, it's a score, the state waived the scores, but they gave us something to look at so that we could see how our students would have scored if they had counted the scores. So it's simulated. It's just how else would you define it, Mr. B?
Yeah, so as a result of COVID, some testing data was not available to us, so it's not a full picture of
That's
all of
true.
the testing components combined. So they did a simulation of what it would look like with the current testing data we have. So for example, some of the testing data, like the graduation data, was waived. Why? Because we ended the school year in 2019 and students didn't finish, like the school year. So some of that graduation data was waived. So that's why we see a simulated score.
We also know that we had some students who didn't test. We had students who were home virtually who would not come into test.
Yeah.
So we received a 0 on every one of those scores. So they knew across the state, and this happened everywhere, they knew that it wasn't a real typical, I guess, reflection of the whole
Yeah.
student body, but so they're calling it simulated is what they're calling it.
Let me ask you this. When we measure schools, I'd say rubric, but I don't know what a rubric is, but do we use the same measuring stick, for example, for the Silk Stocking District in St. Tammany Parish, as we use for the Red River?
Yes, sir.
Parish.
This first one with the charts here, this is exactly how all districts are graded.
Thank you, ma'am. That's a very impressive report. And
It is.
you
I
know,
think-
knowing the fact that not only just right here in Assumption, but schools across the entire state of Louisiana and the United States for that matter, also their school performance scores dropping. That was one of the reasons why the federal government opted to not, use performance score, but they gave us an index, something to go by. But what's even more impressive to me is the way the ACT scores went up from 2019 to this year here, because Louisiana is probably one of maybe 15 states I recall that all students, if I'm not mistaken, have to take the ACT test right here in Louisiana. So that's very impressive. And that's what I like. So again, thank you all very much, and the teachers and principals. Look, I know you all, this has been a trying year for everybody, and your work shows, and God bless you, and thank you all very much for being Assumption Parish. Thank you. Next, receive information on strategic plan, mission measures.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Brittany is going to come up. We want to quickly share with the board and our community. We have this strategic plan. So we're not just saying, hey, here are priorities, put them on the wall, put them on the website, but they are actually active. So Ms. Brittany is going to talk a little bit about how we are measuring our priorities throughout the year. So we're not only just saying, hey, these are the things that we want to accomplish, and this is how we're going to accomplish it, but we're also measuring the progress towards that accomplishment. Ms. Brittany?
So good evening, everyone. So as Mr. B stated, I know everyone's aware that we engaged in writing a strategic plan last March. And from August to now, we are implementing those initiatives and deliverables and action steps as a team. although we're having technical difficulties, we were going to show you so how we're measuring our progress. Each DRI or person responsible for each initiative has to go into Attuned QuickBase, this website that has our strategic plan housed, and we have to update the status of each initiative and provide documentation that we have implemented that initiative. We also have to report progress on that initiative, and our plan is to do that once a month at our initiative team meetings with our core team, Mr. B, myself, Mr. Claymore, Ms. Randall, Mr. Buggich, all of our initiatives, we report out the progress of those initiatives at that meeting. But it doesn't stop there. We also have a second meeting during the month, and that's a leadership team meeting, and that is to go through each initiative and to brainstorm how to improve this initiative. What are some questions that we may need from our teammates to collaborate around, any challenges we may be facing in implementing the initiative, and how to overcome those challenges. So I really wish we could have pulled up the two, because you could see how we have to report progress and then how we are speaking to those initiatives of how we're going to improve it.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Next, under paragraph E, receive information on anti-bullying week.
Mr. President, we want to table this item. We're still waiting on the results from the essay contest, so I want to table this item before we report those results.
Okay, can I get a motion on this, guys? Motion to table? Motion by Ms. Dodd, second by Ms. Uso. Questions or comment? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. So this section will be tabled for further discussion. Next, receive update on installation of access points.
Yes, sir. I'm super excited. I want to say a few board meetings ago, Mr. Nakan gave us a report of the update as far as the access points throughout our school district. So he's here now to present the results of that. So, Mr. Nakan.
Well, the last time I was here, we were hoping to get all the equipment in December. I'm pleased to report, Mr. B's pleased to report, that we actually got them in and they are all installed. So that project is done.
Yeah.
Our next big initiative is to get the Chromebooks in all the way down to first grade. So that's our next big project, and we're shooting for Easter. Depends on how funding and how supply chain and everything goes, but we're gonna get that done as soon as possible. So we jumping on that as soon as we come back from the Christmas break.
Oh,
Thank you.
man, that's good. Do appreciate
Any
it.
questions?
No.
Nothing out of the ordinary. I think it's a lot more calmer than what I anticipated. We're churning, we're getting some broken, but we're able to get them sent off, get them repaired, get them back. We're not in a bind. And the issues that do come up, we're able to just kind of learn from that, put a procedure or something in place, and move on from there. So,
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you.
Josh.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, under policy procedure, paragraph A, receive policy alert July 2021 and policy revision. Need a motion? Motion by Mr. Washington, second by Mr. Robinson. Questions or comment? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Next, paragraph B, approve policy alert September 2021 and policy revision. Need a motion? Motion by Ms. Uso, second by Ms. Dodd. Questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion carried. Paragraph C, approve policy alert November 2021 and policy revision. Need a motion? Motion by Mr. Robinson, second by Mr. Myers. Questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion carried. Paragraph D, approve revision to policy DJC, payroll procedure. Need a motion? Motion by Mr. Mickens, second by Mr. Washington. Questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Paragraph E, approve revision to policy EBBD, emergency closure of schools. Need a motion? Motion by Ms. Uso, second by Ms. Dodd. Questions or comment? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. Next, paragraph F, approve revision to policy JBCE, public school closure. Need a motion? Motion by Mr. Robinson, second by Mr. Myers. Questions or comment? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. Paragraph G, authorize the superintendent to schedule a finance committee meeting on January 5th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Need a motion? Motion by Mr. Washington, second by Mr. Robinson. Questions or comment? So that, Mr. B, that is at 5 o'clock. That's our first regular board
Yes,
meeting?
sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Any other questions or comment? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Next, paragraph H, authorize the superintendent to submit a letter of support on behalf of Assumption Parish School District to vendors who are willing to increase the broadband connectivity throughout the parish. Need a motion? Motion by Ms. Dot, second by Mr. Robinson. Questions or comment? So, Mr. B, this the one that we met with a couple of the police jurymen and a couple of guys from the state?
Yes.
Regarding this.
So the goal here is there's a grant that businesses can apply for, businesses that are in the internet business. So they can come to our parish with a proposal and say, okay, we would like to increase internet broadband throughout your parish. But the way the Gumbo grant works is they have to get they get more points if they get approval from all of the different entities within the parish, like the government, the school board, things like that, organizations. So we are partnering up with the police jury, and we would like to submit letters of support so we could get those companies in to be able to say, hey, we want to work in Assumption Parish and we want to expand broadband. But it's not going to cost us anything. They're just rating them based on a certain score. And if they obviously win the grant, they get X amount of dollars to increase broadband. So I think it's a win-win for our community.
Yeah, to increase broadband, and also to so many areas I found out that didn't have no services at all.
Yes.
That was shocking. So, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Next, on the budget, approve out-of-state travel for district and school level administrator to attend NIET training in Dallas, Texas. Need a motion? Motion by Mr. Robinson, second by Mr. Washington. So, Mr. B, I do recall that this program is federally funded, the NIT.
Yes, sir. It's not, this is not, funding will not be used from our general fund.
Okay.
This is federally funded for the travel, and it's also a part of our district-wide strategic plan.
Okay, all right. And this is the help train for instructions in the classroom?
Yes, sir. District level leaders as well as school level leaders will be attending this training, which is a part of our initiative that we're working on right now. And I want to commend, we actually had an NIET meeting today, a training today, and the assistant principals and principals really working extremely hard. So this is going to help us out with our core meetings and our long range plans and our leadership teams.
Okay, good, thank you.
When are we leaving, Britt? March 9th and 10th.
March 9th and 10th?
It's in Dallas. I think it's in Dallas, Texas.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it's on there, in
With,
Dallas.
when we going to LSB again? Oh, 6 through the 8. Oh, we'll be coming, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, okay, good. Any other questions or comment?
Just
Hearing
one.
none, those-
What is it, NIET? What is that acronym?
The National Institute Excellence in Teaching. So that's like if you think of an organization that support teaching and learning throughout school districts. So they're here, we're partnering with them to support growth for our leaders and our teachers in the district, as well as our district leaders as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This is best practices. It helps us build our capacity as educators.
Okay, any other questions or comment? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Next, I receive November 2021 sale and use tax report.
All right, I'm CFO tonight. So I'm very, very excited to announce, month of November, we collected $1,119,902.37, which is an increase from last year's November total of $153,327.33, which is an increase of 16%. And I want to say, I think, if I'm not, Ms. Anya said that that's probably the highest increase she's seen since she's been in office, so running that department. So very, very excited. The school board received $557,052.91 of that $1 million total. So just wanted to report that. That's a huge increase from last November to this November, and they're comparing month by month, okay?
Yeah. Okay, good. No, thank you very much, appreciate it. Good report. Next paragraph, C, authorize the superintendent to solicit requests for proposal for engineering service. Need a motion? Need a motion? Motion by Ms. Dot, second by Ms. Cooney. Questions? So, Mr. B, I'm sorry, you had a question, Ms. Dot?
Yes. So according to our policy, we definitely have to go out for competitive services, as well as when you're dealing with federal funds. The funds that we're trying to use to do a few of our projects is federal funds. So we just have to make sure we follow the proper laws when it comes to going out for bid and making sure that we follow those procedures. Because I don't know if you know, right now, there's a lot of pushback at the State Department right now that best is making sure that even at the state level that they're procuring the proper bids. So we just want to make sure we follow the law.
Primarily because,
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to, other than that, we would have to use general funds for services like this. There are projects that we need to get completed. Yes, that is true. And there are other projects that we need to do. So I talked to Mr. Joseph, and you know, he said, you know, excited about, hey, Mr. Bell, you know, let me know the projects, we could get them done. But also there's some projects out there that we need to finalize, you know, so we can move forward. By no means are we saying that we are dissatisfied with any services, but we definitely need to make sure that we move forward with all of our other projects as well.
so I think primarily because these are federal funds is the reason why we have to solicit, right?
Yes, according to our policy as well.
Yeah, okay, all right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Next, nothing on the facility and ground. Comments or announcement before we adjourn?
Mr. Buggage?
We posted on Friday, we had a total of 1 positive case and 8 quarantine cases in the district. And again, that was this past Friday, December 10th. As of today, we have a total of 6 positive cases and 19 quarantine cases. So slight increase. However, again, we are tracking numbers. And with the holidays coming, if I recall last year, we did have an increase right after Christmas
Substantial
holidays.
increase, yeah.
So just a reminder for everyone to practice precautions, washing hands, wearing masks while you're shopping and doing everything else. So that's where we are currently.
Omicron?
Not sure. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, that information we don't really get that because that's private, you know, information. So we don't know the actual details as of like what variant it is. We just, on our end, we just know how many cases we have.
Right.
Okay.
So, we only had 1 staff with the numbers I just reported as of today. 1 staff, and the rest are students. 1 staff positive case.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, yeah.
Thank you.
Other announcements, comments, anything? Motion to adjourn. Motion by Ms. Uso, second by